Yo, what's up YouTube? I'm Sweet Phil. Welcome to some more D2 content. Let's roll that intro. So once again, I am Sweet Phil, and thank you so much for coming and checking out my video. Real quick, if you could go ahead and click that like button, and hopefully you could subscribe too. It'd help me out a bunch. In this video, I am doing 250 Mephisto runs, and not just any normal Mephisto runs, but I'm doing this as if I'm starting a brand new Plugy. You'll kind of get the idea once I show you the gear, but this will be gear all that you could have straight from the beginning, and this is how you would start out your Plugy. So I'll start off showing you the gear. First off, we got the spectral shard. I pretty much only use that for the faster cast rate. Then we'll go on to the helmet. It's just 3 perfect topazes in a helm. We'll go over to the shield here. I have a rhyme shield, just shy of 2 runes, but you got the all resistances, cannot be frozen, and of course I love the magic find here while running Mephisto. Over on the armor, I just a stealth, and and starting off, anyone can get a stealth, tall F, any 2-sided armor. And for the boots, I just have some magic boots that have faster run walk on them, nothing special. Just a regular blue belt. It's got a bunch of strength on it, which is pretty cool. Which is obviously then more points you can put into health or mana. I also have Frostburn gauntlets on. It's pretty much just for the 40% extra mana, which will help you out there. Anyone can find those early on. I got a couple of faster cast rate rings. The best that you could find up until this point. These ones have some resistances and mana on it, which is pretty cool. And then I went ahead and just made the first crafted caster amulet that I could. 10% fast cast rate, some resistances, and a little bit of this other stuff that any caster amulet would have. No skills or anything, just a generic faster cast rate amulet. So we start the drops off here at run 19 with a pretty exciting one. It is Skin of the Viper Magi, a faster cast rate with a skill on it, armor. Great for any caster. And it can roll up to 35 resistances, and I get a anti-perfect Viper Magi. Nice. The drops continue quick here on the very next run, run number 20, with a unique Hyperion Spear here, which is Ariok's Needle. A semi-rare item, not necessarily the most useful, but a semi-rare item nonetheless. We come back with our next drop here, 14 runs later at run 34, and as you can see, they're a unique pair of war boots. I'm going to pick them up and come back and hit the super chest real quick and then go to town. But as we'll see here, they are Gore Riders. And here we come in again with our next noteworthy drop here at run number 42. We got a unique ornate plate, a semi-rare item once again, but also very useless in almost every case. But this is Corpse Horn. Meph giving us another good item here, just 2 runs later. You take a second here to get knocked down, but once we teleport over there, we'll see we get a unique cask, I believe is how it's pronounced. Nobody cares how it's really pronounced, but I'm going to say cask. Once you ID it, is a reasonably useful item, Steel Skull with its increased attack speed, hit recovery, dual leech, and magic find. Here just 2 runs later at run number 46, it's Mephisto who does not drop anything. But I do end up getting something from the super chest in the back. I pick up a small charm here, which I then later identify in town, and it turns out to be a small charm with life and resistance on it. Here I am now with the next noteworthy drop at run 51, which actually being 5 runs between noteworthy drops is pretty crazy for Mephisto here, because he's been doing really good for me. But so I got Naj's armor, which is not the craziest good thing to get, but it is cool that it also dropped with Geed's Grand Charm here. And the Geed's Grand Charm rolls, not so good, but early on, for your first Geeds on a character on Plugy, that is an awesome find. Here at run 57, we get a pretty good drop. Even later, after some people had Plugy for a while, finding a pair of these is not the most common, but we got Marowak's Boneweave boots. So they're got the 20 strength, 17 dex, which is really cool stats to have on a boot. Between Mephisto and the super chest behind, I ended up finding all the rooms to make a spirit, and I had them sitting in my stash, and I realized I had a 4-socketed sword too. So I decided to go ahead and make a spirit sword, which is really common for early game characters. I figured that would be better than this faster cast rate spectral shard because of the tutor skills adding so much extra damage. And I had a very, very good map, so it wasn't a long teleport to Mephisto. So here at run 69, we get another noteworthy drop, and it's actually a repeat drop. Skin of the Viper Magi again, along with these two tourists. I can't remember what these roll as, but we'll see in a second. Hamosis Adamandla, doesn't matter. The thing you wanted here is the Skin of the Viper Magi. Let's see if it rolls better than the last one, and it does. 32 res, that ties the highest one I've found so far actually, but it is cool that it fell with two of those set armors all off of the same Mephisto drop. Here at run 70, Mephisto drops another one of those pretty rare finds, but not particularly useful. So it is a unique wrist sword, and this unique item is the Jade Talon. Here at run 76, I find an item that I was actually pretty excited to find for my own grail. It is a burnt wand, which is a suicide branch. And after I eventually teleport around and go an idea, I go look at it, and it's in fact Eth. So I actually found myself an Eth grailer here, so an Eth suicide branch. Here at run 90, the drop is another repeat drop. Once again, it's that unique Hyperion Spear, which is once again the useless but kind of rare item. Apparently not that rare, but Ariok's Needle. It is kind of cool in the same drop. I find a rare circlet that rolls 2 to Druid skills with the 7 mana lead, 17 all res, so it's not a bad. It's okay for a melee build of a Druid. On this run, I don't actually find a great item, but over to the side at around run 100, I end up noticing that this weapons rack drops a Thresher almost every time, and later on I'll go over a little bit more what you're looking for and what I do find off of it. But just know this weapons rack is where I find all these Threshers that I go over later in the video. So now here at run 126, I find a very useful item. It is kind of common, but you always want to find one of these early in a Plugy. It is the unique belt, which obviously is for magic finding, and it is gold wrapped. So you get the 64% extra gold find and a 30% extra magic find on this belt. And I will indeed swap that out for what I had and put this gold belt on to find even more good stuff from Mephisto. Here at run 137, I find another item that's not necessarily the rarest, but it's definitely one that any caster kind of wants to find. You'll get all the faster cast rate here from Wizard Spike, and it's got the increased mana, 75 all res, which is huge. So for any casters, this ain't a bad item to have. So if you remember, I did say around 100 runs is when I started to hit that weapons rack over on the side and find the Threshers. So here it is at run 146, so that would be 46 runs later. I finally find one that comes right off the rack with 4 open sockets. I'll teleport to town real quick to get him away from me. But I'll look at it, and it indeed has 4 open sockets, so then that is now a perfect base to make your first insight in. The next good drop I get from Mephisto here is at run 153, unique Ogre Axe, which, as most people probably know, is the Bone Hue. Usually an insight is a better option, but it is kind of a fun weapon to use on your merc every once in a while. It looks cool with all them bone spears shooting everywhere. We don't have to wait long to find another good item. This is at run 157, and you notice you never really have to wait much longer than 10 runs even is a long time to wait before you get another useful item. But here's this unique salad, I guess is how you pronounce it. It's funny how you never really talk about this stuff, but yeah, you get the fast hit recovery, vitality, the resistances, and the 10% damage reduction. Not a bad helm for like a merc or, you know, any character really. For Mephisto standards, waiting 21 runs here is a long time to find another good item, but I do pull this Grand Charm off of him, and it is one elemental skills. Druid skiller. I'm happy that this skiller is actually a useful skill. Now at run 182, I find another one of those weapons that are kind of rare, but not particularly useful. You probably could find a use for it if you really tried, but we got the Hell Rat crossbow. So this drop at run 189, you have to forgive me and just believe me that Mephisto did indeed drop these water walks. So they're not a bad boot to wear on most characters with the faster run walk, dexterity, and life on these. Now at run 216, Mephisto gives us a great find for an early Holy Grail and an early Plugy. We got the unique chain gloves, which obviously most people will know those are chance guards, and these roll 38%, which actually ties my highest set. And for running Mephisto, those are very great, having that extra magic find. So I'll go ahead and put those on right now, and hopefully that will lead to even better drops in the future. Now Mephisto gives us another repeat drop at 229. It is a pretty good thing to find. Another set of War Boots unique, which come out to be Gore Riders. They're good for melee characters. We get another one of them items that are kind of rare, but not particularly useful, but noteworthy nonetheless here with a unique Blood Spirit. That comes out to be Cerberus Bite at run 234. I'm pretty excited here at run 236 because I find an item that you really want to look for early on in a Plugy or in a Holy Grail. They are unique light gauntlets, which of course are mage fists, so they will give you 1 to fire skills and the 20% faster cast rate, which is most important. They're great gloves for pretty much any caster to find. Most casters will switch back and forth between these and chance guards depending on what the circumstance needs at the time, magic find or the faster cast rate. So I was almost done doing these runs at tier 248, and I was just trying to finish them up, figuring doing these last two, get out of here, but Mephisto will not stop dropping good items. Here I got a set item mesh belt, and this is Talrash's belt. Mephisto couldn't drop another good item, could he? Well, he does here at run 249. It is a unique Elder Staff. This one is extremely noteworthy because it is one of the only items in the game that has %2 experience gained on it. And here I'll go over the threshers I found off that weapons rack. Here we got a 5 open socket with a 5% enhanced damage on it. So that'd be one you'd put like an obedience in. Here's an Eth superior thresher with 11% enhanced damage. I'd have to Lars get, and that would give me 5 sockets in that one. So that would be if you made like an obedience for your mercenary or something. This is another noteworthy one. A lot of these are kind of repeats and stuff. You wouldn't necessarily use all of them, but this is just the good stuff I found. A superior with 10% enhanced damage. This is the 4 open socket thresher that I did find, and I put an insight into it, and this would be good for pretty much any caster who keeps your mana to stay up and does add a bunch of damage. Here's another just 5 open socket thresher, and another one actually too. And I have 2 regular ethereal threshers here, and for these are ones that you would use for the cube recipe. You can look it up online, but there's a cube recipe. You toss those in there, and it randomly rolls 1 to 6 sockets, so you have a 2 out of 6 chance to get 5 sockets, but hopefully you're hoping to get 4 open sockets, so you can either put an insight in one of these, or possibly even an affinity. These are great elite polearm bases to use for rune words. Thank you for coming and checking out that video. I hope that gave you a good idea of what it's like to start a new Plugy. That's why you go to Mephisto. You can find all this good stuff to give good gear for your other characters and also to make your sorcerers even better to find even more good stuff. And I found all kinds of other good stuff too. I probably found at least 3 of those spectral shards, like the full Stygian set. And I couldn't put every single thing I found down there. So many grailers and just little grailers that I had missed along the way. You just find so many different uniques and set items from Mephisto. It is crazy. So if you can go ahead and please click that like button and hopefully subscribe too. It'd help me out a bunch if you liked the video. So peace out, YouTube, and I'll catch you in the next video.